Crochet is not hard. I know that sounds crazy because every single person I have ever met who tried crochet said it was confusing and gave up within the first week. But here is the thing, they were not taught the right way. And today, I'm going to fix that. If you have ever looked at a crochet pattern and felt like it was written in another language, this video is for you. If someone in your life crochets and you have always thought it looked cool but way too complicated to try yourself, stick around. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how to start, and you're going to feel way more confident than you do right now. So, let me be real with you for a second. The reason most people think crochet is hard is not because it actually is hard. It's because when they first try to learn, they jump straight into tutorials that assume you already know things. They skip over the basics. They use words you have never heard before without explaining what they mean. And then you sit there feeling stupid, even though there is nothing wrong with you. You just needed someone to slow down and break it down for you. That is exactly what I'm going to do today. Let us start from the very beginning. The first thing you need is a crochet hook. That's it. That is the main tool. It looks kind of like a thick needle with a little hook at the end. And if you're just starting out, you don't need to buy anything fancy. Go to any craft store and grab a hook that's around 5 millimeters. That size is big enough to see what you're doing, but not so big that it feels weird in your hand. If you're not sure which one to pick, just look for one that says 5 mm on the side of it. Simple. The next thing you need is yarn, and here's where a lot of beginners make a mistake. They go out and buy the prettiest, most colorful yarn they can find, which is totally fine, by the way, but the texture of the yarn matters way more than the color when you're first learning. You want something smooth and a little thick. Worsted weight yarn is what most people recommend for beginners, and that's a good place to start. It's thick enough that you can actually see your stitches clearly, which makes a huge difference when you're still figuring things out. Again, look for yarn that says worsted weight on the label. Most stores have it right there on the front. Okay, so now you have your hook and your yarn. Let's talk about how to actually hold them, because this tripped me up for the longest time when I first started. Your crochet hook is not like a pencil. You don't grip it the same way. Most people hold it like a pencil at first and then wonder why their hand feels so tense after a few minutes. The way that works best for most people is to hold the hook between your thumb and your middle finger, kind of like you're holding a pen, but a little more relaxed. Your index finger stays free and light. It's not gripping anything, it just kind of guides the hook. And honestly, the way you hold it is going to change over time. The more you practice, the more your hand is going to find its own way that feels comfortable. So don't stress too much about being perfect right away. Now for the yarn. Your other hand is going to hold the yarn, and this hand is actually doing a lot of the work, even though it might not feel like it at first. You're going to loop the yarn around your index finger and hold the tail end of it between your thumb and middle finger. This is called tension, and it's one of those things that sounds way more complicated than it actually is. All it means is that you're keeping the yarn tight enough that it doesn't just fall off the hook every time you try to pull it through. Once you get the feel for it, it becomes totally natural. You won't even have to think about it. All right, so the very first thing you actually do with a crochet hook is make what is called a slip knot. And I promise you this is easier than it sounds. Take the end of your yarn and make a little loop. Then take the yarn that is still attached to the ball and pull it through that loop. Tighten it just a little bit so it doesn't fall apart, but not so tight that nothing can move. Put that loop onto your hook. That's your slip knot. Done. That's step one out of the way. The next step is called chaining, and this is probably the most basic thing you'll do in crochet. It's also the thing you're going to do at the start of almost every single project you ever make, so it's worth getting really comfortable with it. To chain, you wrap the yarn over your hook one time, that's it, just one wrap, and then you pull it through the loop that's already on your hook. That gives you a new loop on your hook. Then you do it again, and again, and again. Each one of those is called a chain. That's literally all it is. Wrap, pull through. Wrap, pull through. Once you get into a rhythm, it starts to feel almost meditative, which sounds weird, but it's true. Practice making a chain of about 20. Just sit there and do it over and over. Don't worry about making it look perfect. The whole point right now is just to get your hands used to the motion. You're training your fingers, and that takes a little bit of time, but it comes faster than you think. Once you're comfortable with chaining, the next stitch you're going to learn is called a single crochet. This one is a tiny bit more involved than a chain, but not by much. First, you need to turn your chain so you can work back along it. Take your hook and put it through the second chain from the hook. Skip that first one, it's just there to give you a little space. Now, wrap the yarn over your hook and pull it through that chain. You should now have 2 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn over one more time and pull it through both of those loops at the same time. And just like that, you have made your first single crochet stitch. That's it. 2 loops, 1 pull through. You're going to do that over and over across the row. This is really where it starts to click, because once you can do a single crochet, you can make so much stuff. Scarves, dishcloths, simple bags, all of those things are basically just single crochet stitches lined up next to each other. It's kind of wild when you think about it. All those things you see people making that look so impressive, a lot of them are just this one stitch repeated a bunch of times. And that brings me to the best part of learning crochet. The moment when you finish your first row and you look at it and you actually think, oh, wait, I made that. That feeling is real. It hits different when you did it yourself from scratch with your own 2 hands. It doesn't matter if it's a little messy or uneven. It doesn't matter if it took you way longer than you thought it would. You did it. And every single person who is good at crochet today started exactly where you are right now. So here's what I want you to do. Grab your hook, grab your yarn, and just start practicing. Make a slip knot, make a chain, try a few single crochet stitches. Don't worry about it being neat. Don't compare it to stuff you see online from people who've been doing this for years. Just focus on getting comfortable with the way your hands move and how the yarn feels. That's the whole game right now. And remember, nobody starts out being good at this. Everyone struggles at first. That's completely normal. The only difference between someone who is good at crochet and someone who is not is that the good one just kept going past the awkward part. So keep going. Give yourself a little grace. You're going to be just fine. If this helped you at all and you want to learn more, hit that subscribe button because I've got way more crochet videos coming for you.